What's up, people? Pretty much nothing in life gives me as much pleasure as seeing the awesome team at Exposure Ninja, seeing them do awesome work and knowing that they're ninjas. So in this week's episode, I'm going to be talking about how to build and coach a killer team, with the tiny caveat that I'm actually personally terrible at coaching people. Hey Siri, turn on the kitchen lights. Because here's the truth, you're never going to be able to do everything yourself. I know I've tried. There's going to be a time when you need to start building a team, and knowing how to do this really defines the success or failure of your organization. In fact, all of the good stuff that EN does is other people. Without the ninjas, Exposure Ninja would be absolutely nothing. So I want to share the principles that we at Exposure Ninja have developed over the last 6 years about finding the very best people. What's up? Whoa, what a week. This was probably one of my best and worst weeks at Exposure Ninja. I'm going to talk more about the massive privacy breach that's going to end up costing us a lot of money and a huge amount of embarrassment next time. But this week, I'm going to talk about the good stuff. Yeah, building a team. Building a team and seeing that team be incredible is responsible for probably 80% of my enjoyment as head ninja at Exposure Ninja. Nothing gives me greater satisfaction than seeing that we've got a team of awesome A-grade monster players and then watching them do their awesome A-grade monster work. It's amazing. And we've taken about 6 years to put together our team building, our recruitment and training and onboarding processes. So in this video, I'm going to share some stuff that we've learned about how to build an awesome ninja, A-grade monster, killer, beastly team. Hope you enjoy it. I should probably put some sick title screen here, like how to build a team. There are probably 2 or 3 things that you're really good at. So it might be things like coming up with ideas, you might be good at sales, you might be really organizational, operationally minded, you might be we got people who are just amazing at cranking out loads of work and they're just super relentless at just smashing stuff out. You might be really diplomatic and good at reading people. You might be great at defining and pushing a vision. But usually people are only good, in my experience, in maybe 2 or 3 of those areas. So for me, I can come up with ideas. I'm reasonably good at sales and I can define and push a vision. Like those are my 3 things. But I know, for example, the organization and actually directly managing people, these are areas where, yes, I could possibly get good at them, possibly, but it hasn't happened yet. It doesn't excite me. And when I put someone else in charge of that, I see, oh wow, they're really good at it. So this happened this week. I've been running the Exposure Ninja sales team for years, like since we started. And I've always thought, wow, it'd be great to have someone managing the sales team. It would be great to have someone who's kind of responsible for coaching and training and onboarding the new sales ninjas who's not me. And it kind of been toying around, and people always say to me, yeah, the sales team's not big enough yet to have a manager or a team leader or something like that. You need more people, so you'll do it for now. And in the back of my head, there's this nagging doubt, and I was thinking, yeah, but I'm not doing a good enough job of this. I'm not spending the time that I need to coach these people and help them to improve. So I'd set a goal. Let's get a sales manager in place by April. We're recording this in February. And that would give me a bit of time to kind of get some processes together and build something that a sales manager could then take over. And then I was talking to one of our sales ninjas, Wayne. He's fantastic. He's an absolute beast. He knows the product inside out. He knows the process inside out. And he was saying, yeah, I'm not sure it warrants a full-time salesperson. And I gave him all my stuff about, yeah, but I'm too busy and I don't think I'm doing a good job. And he said, let me try just coaching the team, spending a few hours a week, working with them, developing them, helping them, you know, all that training type of stuff, which I wasn't doing because I didn't have time. So I was like, cool, great. Put together a plan, show me. He put together a killer plan. I was like, this is beast. And then within about 2 days, he'd done more to help and coach and develop the sales team than I'd done in the last probably 6 months. It was crazy. We have some new sales ninjas who've started. He's been coaching them, helping them. The quality and the speed of their work is just insane underneath him. And it's one of those things that I thought, wow, I should have done this like 2 or 3 years ago. Why didn't I do it sooner? It's really important to know the areas that you're not good at. These are as important really as the areas that you are good at. So if you're not good at organization and yet you are the kind of organizational head of your team or your business or whatever, your life, well, that entire thing is going to be underperforming because that weakness is absolutely core. So I think building a team and recruiting is about as much as recognizing your gaps and your holes and finding people who are naturally going to fill those because of their personalities. So it's really important to know these blind spots. Your blind spots will typically be the things that you absolutely hate, the things that you always put off. For example, I remember one of the first times I realized where one of my blind spots was, I was talking to my accountant, and I always used to dread doing accounts. It's so boring and you have all these receipts, you got to put them in a spreadsheet, and oh my God, it just takes forever, and you know, it's just a miserable thing. So I put it off and off and off and off. And I was talking to my accountant and I said, Ed, when I give you this mountain of receipts, is that not the worst thing in the world? Like, your entire life is this thing. And he said, actually, no, I really love it. I love getting everything in order. I love seeing it when it's finished and knowing that it's done. And I was like, okay. So for everything that I hate, there's someone who's actually really good at that and loves it, and vice versa, right? So for some people, getting on camera and talking to people would be their absolute worst nightmare. Whereas I'm like, yeah, cool, I can do that. That energizes me. That's cool. So it's about knowing your blind spots and accepting them, and rather than saying, I have to be able to do everything, saying, okay, there's actually some areas that I'm really not too good at. Okay, so how do we hire? How do we find people and bring them on and make them a success at Exposure Ninja? Well, the first thing is it's all about making a killer job description. Remember that when you're writing a job description, you're selling great people on why they should want to take your job rather than somebody else's. So it's really important not to just think of your job description as this kind of template, boring corporate thing. We regularly get feedback from people that say, wow, the job just seems completely different to anything else that is being advertised on the job site. I got a real sense of the company behind it. And that's exactly what we want. We want this job description to basically be a sales letter selling them on why they should want to work for us. Now, of course, we don't want to oversell. We don't want to promise stuff that they're not going to get at Exposure Ninja, but we need to make sure that they understand this is a very different job to anywhere else. But we also want to be quite honest about the things that we're not looking for or potential shortcomings of the job. So for example, because everyone in Exposure Ninja is remote, we make sure 100% upfront that we say this is a remote role, you must be comfortable working remotely. And we say, it doesn't suit everyone. Some people, they just want to watch Jeremy Kyle or whatever. That's not for us. So make your job description attractive, but not too attractive. The next thing to look out for is the cover letter. It's insane to me how few people actually send bespoke cover letters. If you can't even be bothered to write us a letter to tell us why you think you'd be a good fit, why should we spend 2 hours interviewing you? If your CV has spelling and grammar mistakes, it's not even... There's absolutely no role in Exposure Ninja that we would fill with someone who can't even get their CV spell and grammar checked. If we're interested in a candidate, we'll give them a demo task to do. So this will be some kind of task that's designed to represent the typical work that they'll be doing in the role. So for example, if it's the sales role, in the sales team, we record these marketing review videos for people. So this is like a lot of the work that the sales team do is making these marketing review videos. So if you're interested in working in the sales team, we will give you a segment of a marketing review to do over video. Now this tests a couple of things. It tests your ability to actually create a video and talk over it. So it tests kind of basic technical capability. You'll be amazed at how many people fall at this hurdle and send us some incredibly random thing like a weird file format or a link to something that doesn't exist, right? The other thing that it tests is your ability to talk on video and of course your digital marketing knowledge to be able to analyze a website. So although we're not looking for perfection in the demo task, we are looking for basic competency. This really helps, particularly if you've got someone whose CV doesn't really indicate that they've got a huge amount of experience in the area that you're looking to hire someone. But you think there's something about them, there's something about the cover letter, which indicates that they might be really good in this role. So you can send them a demo task, see how they get on in a real world situation. And then if they're good, then you know, okay, great, so this person has some potential and you can go into interview. At EN, we have 2 interview stages. We'll never let one person hire a candidate. They always have to go through 2 different people to get a second opinion. Now, the 2 interviews will be broken up slightly differently according to what role, but usually the first one is quite cold. We're not looking to build too much rapport with the candidate at all. We're not asking how are they, how's your family, anything like that. We just want to get pure facts. Now, it's really important that in the interview, you know the sort of characteristics you want for that person. So for example, just taking the sales role, because we've been recruiting sales recently. In the first interview, we go through a role play exercise, which is designed to test the candidate in a number of different areas. Now, we know the characteristics that we're looking for, and we'll design the role plays with those in mind. For example, with salespeople in digital marketing, or with salespeople anywhere, there can be a tendency to oversell, so to promise things that actually we can't deliver. So we're looking to test in the role plays where the salesperson's compass is on this scale. We don't want someone who's going to oversell. We don't want someone who's going to undersell. We want someone who's approximately in the middle. Now, for that type of thing, for things like moral compass, for work ethic, it's very difficult to train someone out of their habits. Usually what you've got is what you're going to get, right? If someone has a tendency to oversell, it's going to be really difficult for you to blunt those edges down and reel them back a bit. They're always going to kind of want to go there. So we'd test for that in the role play. If we see those tendencies, then we'll say, okay, this isn't going to be the job for you. So we'll ask them typical situations such as a client wants to buy, they don't have as much budget as we think they need for the goals that they have. Would you sell them on this thing or not? So we're basically testing, would they just sell them something that they know is not going to work? Okay, and we kind of listen to their thought process as they're going through this, because they don't know what our policies are like at this stage. They don't know what the right answer should be. So we're just listening to how they deal with this challenge. So we're looking for that kind of alignment with our principles straight off the bat. The other thing that you can test in the role plays and in the first interview is how hardworking and organized someone is. So we'll often say, how do you plan your day? How do you know what to focus on each day that you work? And this is really interesting. It's a great opportunity for people to hang themselves, because if they say, oh, I just kind of see what happens, I see what comes to me, then you know that they're not going to be maximizing each day. If they have a thoughtful process, and they can't blag this, if they come out with something immediately that says, typically, I set my priorities the night before, I know exactly what I'm going to be working on, I book things in my calendar, I have appointments with myself, then you know, okay, this person has that kind of mindset. If they say, yeah, so I kind of tend to wake up around 8, and then as soon as they start like mumbling like that, you're like, all right, okay, you don't have a process, this is not for you. At the end of every interview, whether it's a first interview or a second interview, the interviewer at Exposure Ninja will let the candidate know what our greatest concern is about them. So for example, it might be, I've just got one main concern, and that is your lack of digital marketing experience. So how would you overcome that objection? And can you think of any situations where you've been in a job where you haven't had experience in the core area and you very quickly got up to speed? So by doing that, we're allowing them to actually face this objection head on. So we're seeing how they deal with obstacles, which is an important kind of character trait. But we're also giving them an opportunity to overcome that objection in our heads, because actually we might have misjudged them. And what we don't want to do is take that prejudice and say, all right, okay, they don't have the right level of experience. If it turns out that actually, like, last year they started a job in a diamond factory and they didn't know anything about diamonds, but within 2 months they were like the diamond expert in the industry. Okay, that's really impressive, and we'd love to know that stuff. So kind of allowing them to overcome the objection and tell us why they think they might be a good fit despite that is really valuable. And I think we owe it to the candidate as well. Worst hiring mistakes. There are some phrases that you don't want to hear in an interview. I've learned that one of them is, I work smart and not hard. Anybody who says that in life is pretty much guaranteed to be lazy. In interviews, people obviously present their best selves. So if what they say doesn't come across as a good fit for you in interview, then they are definitely not going to be a good fit for you in the organization. My second biggest hiring mistake is my old attitude of if in doubt, say yes. Like I say, I have this kind of naive belief in people. And if someone was borderline, I was thinking, yeah, maybe they'd be good, maybe they wouldn't, I'd say, right, let's just give them a go. They deserve a shot. Trouble is, like I say, if they seem good in the interview, they're not going to be as good in real life. Some people are, but it's very rare. So if in doubt, say no. If you have any question at all about whether this person would be a good fit or a great hire, say no. My third hiring mistake is not hiring soon enough. So if you don't have the time to bring someone on board and coach them and help them get up to speed in the new role, then it's already too late, right? You need to hire someone while you still have the time to train and develop them. If you wait until your plate is completely full and then you bring someone on, the trouble is there's not going to be any time for them to get up to speed. They're going to be left on their own to try and figure stuff out. They're not going to perform as well as they could have done, and you're already going to be super stressed. So you've got to hire someone before you reach breaking point, and hopefully that way you never will. This laptop has a 10 button.